Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine. In this online class, we are going to learn about the impact of Buddhism on Indian culture and society. But before starting our topic, I just want to revise our previous online class topics as they were Mahayana and Hinayan Buddhism, in which you have learned about Mahayana believed Buddha to be God, worshipped images, introduced many rituals, adopted Sanskrit. Hinayan was the original sect. The Hinayanists did not look at Buddha as an incarnation of God. They, unlike the Mahayanists, had no faith in idol worship and continued using Pali language. Then you have learned causes of decline of Buddhism, in which revival of Hinduism, loss of royal patronage, split in Buddhism, corruption in the Buddhist Sanghas, adoption of Sanskrit, and Turkish invasion. So, today we will start with the topic Impact of Buddhism on Indian culture and society. Impact on art and architecture. As the gateway and the railings of the Sanchi Stupa were covered with sculptures figures, they constructed many cave temples which were decorated with beautiful frescoes. What are these frescoes? These are the paintings done by the watercolors on the sand. Then the Gandhar art was developed under the Buddhist patronage. Gandhar school of art was developed in the Punjab. First time it was developed at Punjab, and it is related to the making of sculptures and pictures. The numerous stupa and the pillars bear testimony to the Buddhist skill in the field of architecture. And do you remember about a seated Buddha? It was built during the time of Gandhar School of Art. And not only these, but so many Bodhisattva statues were also built at the time of Gandhar School of Art. Our next point describes about how these idols still affect our life. Means how these idols of Buddhism or Jainism still affect our life. Although Buddhism as a moment had ended, it has ended, we all know this thing. It added much to the values of Indian culture. But it added so many things into the Indian culture and towards our heritage. Buddha's firm belief in the principle of equality will live forever and never die. So, what was the Buddha's policy? His policy was equality. There is no difference between the high class and the low class. Everyone is equal in front of him, and that is why there were so many followers of Buddhism. They left their old religion Hinduism and they started following Buddhism. Mahatma Gandhi took a leaf from the Buddha's life when he said non-violence is the first article of my faith. What he said, Mahatma Gandhi? He said that non-violence was his first article of his faith. He also said religion in the sense of peace, fraternity, and helping each other, loving each other, and can also become a basis of existence of the world. So he said this thing, that fraternity, equality, helping each other, kindness, all these things are the basis of our life. If we are not following this, we cannot live in the world, and the world, one day the world will be ended without these words, without these things. So according to Mahatma Gandhi, these things, the sense of peace, fraternity, equality, love and kindness, these relies in the Buddhism, and that is why till today people are following all these moral values, because these were the base of Buddhism. Rabindranath Tagore was also a prophet of divine love on earth. He warns people against the evils of the pride, envy, worth and lust. He always checked the people not to follow these evil practices. He was a poet as a universal harmony. He used to do those poetries, write those poetries who build up the universal harmony, who build up the brotherhood among all. Harmony. Then Dr. S. Radhakrishna's message to the world was to follow ethical ideals to create an order and civilized society. So Dr. Radhakrishna was also giving the message to go with the moral values, to go with those things which is very, very important to lead the world, which is very, very important for the people of the world. Otherwise, they will die. They will not lead a good life. If they will not lead a good life, they will not get the eternal life. And how they will get the eternal life? With their good deeds, with their good work. If they don't do that, they will not get the eternal life. So, according to Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore, and Dr. S. Radhakrishna, the message is one, to give the moral values and moral teachings in the world, to follow the non-violence, to follow the path of fraternity, kindness and love. Do you know, children, about the Buddhist and Jain cave temples? Yes, here are these Buddhist and Jain cave temples like chaityas and monasteries like viharas. So with the growth of Buddhism and Jainism, remarkable progress was made in the field of architecture. Rock-cut caves were made in various parts of India for giving permanent abodes to the monks and for providing places of worship. So rock-cut cave temples were built up during the time of Buddhism. Why these temples were built up? To give a permanent abode to the monks and for providing places of worship, so that they can do meditation, they can do devotion towards God. The caves were hewn out of the solid rock, and each cave temple was divided into two parts. It was hollowed from inside and it was divided into the two parts, like viharas and like monasteries, and chaityas, halls of worship. Now, chaitya at Karle. The chaitya situated at Karle in Pune, Maharashtra, is considered one of the finest specimens of rock-cut architecture in India. It is believed to have been made during the 1st century AD. The remarkable columns inside the chaitya are of exceptional beauty. They are of exceptional beauty. Then each column is elaborately designed with a pot base, a shaft and a capital on the top. They are designed with this. They have a base, then they have a shaft and a capital on the top. The capitals have carvings of kneeling elephants. So how the capitals look like? They look like, or they have designs of kneeling elephants. The Karle Chaitya was used for prayer meetings associated with the Buddhist religion. So why this Karle Chaitya was used? It was used for the prayer meetings for the Buddhist religion. Viharas at Udayagiri. The cave temples at Udayagiri, Odisha, are Jain monuments belonging to the period of King Kharvela, Kalinga. These caves were excavated during the period around 103 BC to 150 AD. So what was the time period when they were excavated? 103 BC to 150 AD. Rani Gumfa cave is the largest and the best of all the caves at Udayagiri in Odisha. So which is the largest and the best cave of Udayagiri? Rani Gumfa cave. Jainism and Buddhism, a comparative study. So first we will learn the similarities between these two religions. The first point describes about that the great teachers of both religions, Mahavira and Gautam Buddha, were Kshatriyas. They both belonged to the Kshatriya clan, who rose against the rituals of the Vedic religion, and they both rose their voice against of the rituals and customs during the time of the Vedic religion. Why so? Because people were not getting support from the religion. They don't have right to go into the temples, especially the untouchables. They don't have right to go into the temples, and they want a simple and a calm and quiet religion which support them, which help them. But at that time the Vedic religion was very rigid and people were not able to follow that. Only the high class society was able to follow that religion. They were allowed to go into the temples. So this was not a good thing of that time. So Buddhism and Jainism, these religions help the people to follow the right path. Second point describes about God, rituals and Vedas had no place in both the religions. How you can say that? That they don't believe in the existence of God. They don't believe on the rituals and customs, and they even don't believe on Vedas. They only believe on the good deeds. Both use the popular dialects as vehicles for their teachings. Both use a particular language, use for the group of the people a common language. They use this language to reach to the hearts of the people. People were able to understand the real meaning of moral values. What is the truth? The people were able to understand. So they both used the common language. Then for example, the Buddhism, or in Buddhism the Bodhisattvas use the Pali language, and in Jainism they use Mahavira used the Ardha Magdhi. It was also a common language. Now next point describes about non-violence was an indispensable part of their creed. Non-violence means ahimsa. It is the most important part of their creed, as till today people are following this doctrine of the Buddhism and Jainism. People wanted to use non-violence, ahimsa in their life, and it is the most important part of the Jainism and Buddhism. According to both the religions, nirvana or moksha is one's ultimate aim in life. So what is that? Nirvana. Nirvana, I have told you earlier that it is the eternal life, a life after death. And how people get nirvana? People get nirvana by following eightfold path, middle path. And when people will away from all worldly desires, they are able to get nirvana. It is an escape from the cycle of birth and rebirth. Both had organized monasteries for monks and nuns to live. They both have constructed the monasteries like chatyas and viharas for the monks and nuns to live. So in this way, these are the similarities between the Buddhism and Jainism. Next, we will see about contrast between Jainism and Buddhism. So, Jain religion believed in severe asceticism, whereas Buddhism advocated the middle path. Jain religion believe in hard life, okay, but Buddhism don't believe in hard life. They believe in the middle path. They don't believe in extremeness of hard life, but they believe in the middle path. Jain carried the principle of ahimsa to an extreme point. Buddhism did not carry it to that end. Means Jainism carried the principle of ahimsa to an extreme point, to the last point of their life. They die with their hard life, but Buddhism did not carry it to that end. Now, Jains gave greater importance to the laity. Laity are those people who help in managing the affairs of the monasteries, but who are not monks or nuns themselves. But on the other hand, Buddhists believed or relied more on the sanghas. They believe on the bhikshus and bhikshunis. Now, next point describes about Buddhism could become a world religion, whereas Jainism was confined to domains of India. So in this way, you have learned about the contrast between the Jainism and Buddhism. So please listen the video carefully, do the assignment on time, and make your own points. It will help you for your exam. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.